Hello and welcome to the No Name Gaming Podcast. I'm your host Ricky, and I'm double checking my audio levels because I don't want to mess up anything. and welcome to the weekly gaming show that I host, where I talk about games, video games, all that stuff, pretty much, and all that stuff. Thank you very much. If you haven't already, you can always check us out here on YouTube for the video and on audio services such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, and many others where we are available and everything. You can catch us here every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on those platforms. And let's just get into it and everything like that. So, what have I played? Pretty much. I've been playing a lot of Warzone. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, I've been playing a lot of Warzone. I've been playing the new map, Vondel, and I think it's a good thing. We're going to start off with this on how we're going to get into the big topic later on for this. But I've been having a blast with Vondo playing, especially in solos. Um, I think it's the map. I think this Warzone map for me particularly has felt like the most fun. I never thought um jumping on different buildings from jumping from building to building and everything like that, having fun and what happened to me in Warzone in particularly, as much as I enjoy, as much as I don't mind playing it and enough, but I've never had this much fun on a map in particular for me, at least. People have their opinions and their thoughts about the Warzone and everything that it comes with, what it comes with and everything, and and the issues that it brings. But for me, for once in my life, playing this game, I have had the best time ever. I think most of my games I've always end if I don't finish first, I'm always ending at least, if I'm doing real well, I'm always ending in like at least top 15 to top 10 and everything. And normally I would get at least over 8 kills and everything. Sorry, I had to like, thought I lost something right there. Stuff. But it's been a blast. It really has been. Um, I it's not, and then what sucks though. So as of today's recording, they did a playlist update to both Warzone and Modern Warfare 2, and they decided to put Resurgent solos to Ashika Island and not in Vondel. Vondel only has duos and quads, if I remember correctly. But I could be wrong on that. And then solos and trios is on Ashika for Resurgence, unfortunately. And then they added mini BR for El Mazra on solos. And already off the bat, playing Ashika after I played 3 games of Ashika. I think it's just because like I haven't played that map in so long, but it doesn't feel like the I don't know. There's an excitement to me of wanting to figure out of jumping into Vondel and then going from one spot to the next with no issue and all that stuff. And because I can start at the top of a building, fly down, and if I feel like if I'm too far from a circle, I know there's a redeploy somewhere nearby, and I go straight for that. And get to a circle by landing on the roof of a building at least, and then happen if I happen to catch somebody, I'll try to catch them off guard and go for the elimination and everything. And that's what's very interesting and fun about it. How is an Ashika it so far? Because again, I haven't played it in so long. It doesn't feel the same, and right off the rip, I lose my gunfights. I I don't know if it's something feeling different or it's just because I haven't played the map in so long. Um, Hopefully that would change because I do want to give Ashika another chance and everything. It's just something about it when you don't play it with your friends and you go to solos for it feels fine. But when I play Vondel, because I play duos and solos on Vondel, and I believe I don't have an issue between the two, which is pretty cool. for that. Um, for for that, and then plus when I go ahead, I feel like I'm winning my gunfights. I feel like I have a chance of doing something when I play on Vondel and with the options. And like I feel like there's like different ways of getting things, of doing different styles of play, of what to do and everything like that, and how it feels like I'm able to adjust to getting from one spot to the next if I need to get away from. If I get shot at and I want to recover, at least to me, and all that stuff. And because again, I don't know how the majority of everyone else, I haven't heard much bad complaints and all that stuff about the map. That's just from what I see. I could be wrong on that, and I probably am, but then that's fine. But I'm having a good time. I'm having a blast. I want to keep playing it. It made me want to keep playing it and all that stuff. And today was a little upset. And today was a little upsetting. The fact that no solos are no longer available on that map for that. And I've never felt that, and I've never had that feeling before for that stuff, particularly in Warzone. But because again, Warzone has always been that something I will go in and play a couple matches and enjoy. But getting on Vondel and playing, at least playing on solos, I don't and everything. I just want to keep playing and everything. And because I feel Vondel is more of a playground to do different stuff, whereas Ashika is more of a sandbox with barely stuff to use, leverage, and everything. But again, I haven't played Ashika in a long time, and I hope maybe that might change my mind when playing more of it. But I don't know of what else that I could say about it and everything. It's still early in the season. Who knows what we can do? Who knows what's going to happen later on? I think the plan is they want to add in regular battle royale for it. That's going to be interesting to see because I playing Resurgence on that map is just fun. I don't know why, but I mean I know why because I've been talking about it this whole time. But it's just jumping in, hopping on, figuring out what you need to do, and then getting those first couple kills, eliminations, and then trying to figure out a way of getting from one end to the other, and then hopping from one building to the next. It doesn't feel like they're all far away. It's all close together, no matter what, even though it doesn't look like it. It's interesting. It's just so interesting. And again, like I said, I could be in the minority on this, really, and that's fine and everything. Because, like I said, I'm having a blast on it. For that, and if everyone else is, more power to them. If no one likes the map or having it, don't design, that's totally understandable for that. But hey, I'm having a blast. I don't think there's anything wrong with it and everything. I do feel that though the only thing so far that I have an issue with is when you're jumping off the plane. It feels like you're jumping off too early automatically and everything. So I don't know if that's a bug or something they did natural and they need to fix it because I think that's the one thing it needs to do. Also, this is just me, how I feel and everything. I believe rank play should be in Ashika and Vondel. You can literally do either solo, you could do solos, duos, or even one of both, one or the other, and all stuff. And that maybe add trios, quads. I don't know about much and all stuff. I never got the feel for it playing on those maps. And then, but yeah, I think that should happen. I think there should be rank play for those maps and everything. That way, there's something more people can jump into if they like the smaller maps too, and don't mess with El Mazra for that. But anyways, let's get to the nitty gritty. And this is probably gonna be a very short episode, but that's fine. So stuff, but this is because it's the only thing that's been on my mind really. So, particularly what's happening. There's other things, but that is nothing about as big as this one. And if those who don't know and have been living under a rock for the past year and a half, for those who don't know, Microsoft, the owners of the Xbox gaming platform, the Xbox consoles and everything, they announced back in January of 2002 that they were planning to acquire Activision Blizzard for a round off a $70 billion. I think it's like 68.7 million is the actual billion, not a million, is the actual number for this for the price for the sell and everything. And oh boy, has this been a talking point for a while and way more than it should be. for that fact. Because so it was a shocker, I will say, when this first got announced. Because I didn't think after because they just recently acquired Cinemax, which is the owner of studios such as Bethesda, ID Software, to name a few things, and they make games such as Elder Scrolls, Fallout, as recently as Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo to for that, and of course Doom for those on for that. And it's a very shocking sequel. It's very shocking the fact that they're because they just purchased that company for 7 billion, if I remember correctly. Um, for that, so the fact that they come back and do this again, but with Activision Blizzard, and now for those who don't know who Activision Blizzard, they make the best, one of the biggest franchises, if not a ton of them, such as first things, Call of Duty. Everyone knows what Call of Duty is, but also Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft, and everything. They own the franchises of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. If you remember the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, that is from this company particularly for that. And for those who don't know, they also own a little small mobile company called King, and they have a little small mobile game that everyone should know. That if you don't know about, is called Candy Crush Saga. Yeah, it's that big. Yeah, and that's a very big game for a mobile game, or particularly for that stuff. So just the slate of games right there of what they provide is crazy for this. And I was shocked because the fact that this is an actual thing that might happen. And the thing is like, I was like, is this gonna be, is this actually gonna happen? Because the thing is with when it comes to act of companies acquiring other companies, and depending on how big of a company is, uh, it takes time for that. There's a process for that stuff to to make that happen, and it takes depending on how big how big of the acquisition is. There's a time link to that, whether it be small or long, and everything. And in this case, for Activision Blizzard, as they first stated when they announced this could take up to 18 months and everything, which I understood for that. This isn't the first acquisition I've heard of and everything. For those who don't know from like the movie side, this is something similar to Disney acquiring all the Fox studio properties and all that stuff and everything and all that stuff. So it's similar to that in a way, but just more in a gaming sense. This is more gaming particularly, um, and everything. And this is the second big acquisition for on the gaming side for Xbox Two. So my thing, and so why am I talking? But the thing is, why am I talking about this now, and not at the beginning of this? Well, I did technically a long time ago on my own YouTube channel, um, and I've talked about it before on the No Name podcast here and there, and all that stuff. But why am I bringing it up now on this channel? I mean, on this podcast, and that's one of the fact it is currently in a legal dispute. Technically, right now, as we know, it is going in trial. It's currently on a trial with the Federal Trade Commission. That is a regulatory body within the United States. And pretty much they give the say so of if this can be approved or not, and everything. And the process for this not only happens within the U.S. but also around the world too. So right now, it's currently in the legal dispute. This is the as of this recording, we've gone through day 5. I think it's been 5 days. Thursday is the last day of this, and then when they do give closing arguments, and then a judge will give a result after through a thorough process and everything. So, but since here in America, since we are near a holiday weekend with Independence Day, July 4th, this we probably won't get a final verdict at least until January 5th, January 6th, and that's on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So hopefully by this next episode, we'll probably know what's going to happen, and I may hold off, depending on what goes. I may hold off on next week's episode till Friday and everything, so that way we know what's going to happen. And but why am I talking about it now? Because it there's been a lot of talk for the last month or so about this deal, if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Um, I will say I'll admit I am the one that I approve of this acquisition. I think it should go. I believe it should go through. Whatever happens by the end of next week, I am totally fine with it either way. But I think this is a deal that should go through. Uh, First things first. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Call of Duty. And I want to say this: when this deal got announced, it was never about Call of Duty. It was about uh, establish Xbox establishing a mobile footprint in the gaming side of things. Now, again, as I mentioned, Activision Blizzard is also has a mobile developer called King, which also is the developer that makes Candy Crush and everything. And if no one knows who Candy Crush is, something's wrong with you and all that stuff. Sorry, but it's true, because Candy Crush is one of the biggest mobile games in the world and all that stuff, and it generates a lot of money. So it's particularly with that. I don't want to get. I would believe 10 times when if someone ever brought this up to somebody and all that stuff, everyone will think most likely of the fact of, oh, they're doing this to get Call of Duty. That is actually less. That is actually not the deal and all that stuff. And then also for the fact that, yeah, Xbox has a console, it needs games. They'll probably just make it for Xbox consoles only. Nope, nope, nope. And that's not going to happen. Why? Because it's going to stay on. It's not going to go to like the future of Call of Duty is not going to stay on it. It's going to be Xbox only. It is going to be stay. It is going to stay on the fact of being on Xbox and PlayStation. And again, you're probably thinking to yourself, that is crazy. Why would they do such a thing? Are you willing to segregate another platform of the one of the biggest games that sends a ton of units and all that stuff and generates a lot of money on both platforms and all that stuff, and you want to take away a majority, more than half at least, of that revenue and all that stuff just to make this game exclusive to your platform? Nah, it doesn't work like that. Is there any evidence of this that Microsoft wouldn't do this? Yeah, Minecraft. Now, if you're saying to yourself, what do you mean? I think it was 2016, 2014. I want to say. I could be wrong on the year. It's between that time. Microsoft acquired the company that makes Minecraft. So Minecraft has been an Xbox owned product for a very long time. For those who don't know. And Minecraft is, as of and still now, been available on all platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, PC, and all that stuff. Even the Java version is still available and all that stuff. So there's proof right there in general and all that stuff, because everyone knows what Minecraft is too. Everyone plays Minecraft too. Is similar to Call of Duty. I don't know numbers wise of what's the biggest one, but they're both big in their ways and all that stuff. So that is the perfect example of that. For that, people think. And what about other games? Well, what do you mean what other games? There's not. Call of Duty is like the only other game that is made on the Activision side, at least, and all that stuff. They do have other titles that's under like Skylanders, which was like a long time ago. Crash Bandicoot, which they haven't made there's a Crash Team Rumble game that's out now, and then they haven't made one since Crash 4 a couple years back. So most of the time it's focusing on Call of Duty for that stuff. And I will say, I And that's one reason. So the one reason I think the deal should go through. I believe for the fact that this will probably Activision open up Activision more outside of Call of Duty for that there will be this opportunity for the developers within Activision to be able to make brand new games outside of Call of Duty and all that stuff. Now, will this means that those games will come exclusively to Xbox? I can either confirm or deny what they will do with that. That's up to them. For that, I mean, most likely if it's like a single player game, I can see it staying on Xbox because of that, and utilizing Game Pass would benefit that so much, too. I do feel this might help Call of Duty in some way, um, and just of what the game has become and what it will be in the future. Uh, Again, I will probably talk about that more if depending on how the deal goes, especially if it passes. So that's what I want to. That's the one thing I wanted to get at about it. I think it benefits that. I think it benefits Call of Duty. On the Blizzard side of things, Diablo, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. I don't think nothing changes there, particularly too. If Diablo and Overwatch are multi-platform games, I think that's going to stay the same as well. They're not going to remove that off PlayStation. World of Warcraft has always been a PC only game, and I think it's going to stay like that also, unless like they somehow make a way to bring it to consoles, and that'll be interesting to see. They've talked about Microsoft has talked about how once they acquire Activision and all that stuff, if the deal goes through, they plan on opening Call of Duty to more platforms outside of PlayStation and Xbox and PC, such as there's a chance of it maybe getting being on the next Nintendo platform. We're seeing it being provided. We'll see it provided on Game Pass itself. So that way, not only you would see this, it would benefit players who already play the game and are willing, probably most likely, to spend the $70 on the game itself if they're on a different platform. This will also go to players who, even folks that haven't played Call of Duty in a time and don't want to make the commitment of paying the 60 to $70 for a game and all that stuff, because it's going to be available to them right then and there for that. So it's going to be interesting to see that. If it's going to bring in more people, stuff from via Game Pass to that stuff. Um, for that, I think more or less we're gonna see something Xbox not do before, and that's enter in the mobile space and just what they'll do there with not only Candy Crush, but there's also two big mobile games that are also available, which is Call of Duty Mobile and Diablo Immortal, which are doing very well on that in the mobile perspective. And I think that's going to be interesting to see of what they do. Now, what the thing is about this is something what's called a vertical merger, and the best way to put this is, though Activision will be within like its own a company within Microsoft, it's still going to be run as an individual company in a way. So I mean, there'll probably be like oversight watching Microsoft looking over the Xbox team in particularly looking over on maybe certain decisions and everything like that of what to do for games, but it's still going to be Activision like we know it as of right now for that. And I don't know, we don't know what's going to happen. And there's a lot of things that has happened with the company. There's been some workplace issues and everything like that. Of course, we have the game itself being a Call of Duty as a game having its own issues within the community itself, particularly within Warzone. There's all this other stuff. The game comes out on a yearly basis and everything, and there's a lot of things that it doesn't sit right for that stuff. But I think a change in leadership for it being under Microsoft will benefit this. Will probably be a very big benefit of that, and and once that happens, we'll probably might see some personnel changes in the leadership wise for that way to make that process work and be comfortable with. Um, the one thing that we have known for about, call it, Microsoft, when it comes to acquiring companies, especially like it did with Bethesda. They always had an offhands approach with the companies to let them do what they want and all that stuff. And if they need help, they can always go to them. I do believe on in Activision's case, though, they may want to look into them, see what's going on, and all that stuff. Because for those who don't, because the funny thing about this, before this acquisition was made, when this acquisition was announced in 2012, 22, the year before that, in 2021, um, the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, put out a note about talking about Activision Blizzard, and due to recent allegations of within the company of workplace behavior and all that stuff, he put out a note about saying like he is in conversations with Activision on, and is about, he doesn't condone about what's going on within that company itself, and wants to think of ways and it was in the thought of process of what they want to do of showing their games and all that stuff, and that's a big deal in a way of like, but it never came into the fact of them actually buying the company itself. Um, there's a lot of talks. There's been a lot of talks also recently of what Microsoft plans on doing. And first and foremost, Call of Duty staying on multiple platforms as always, going to be added to new platforms via whatever Nintendo's next console might be. For that, it's planning on being on these additional cloud service uh, places such as like GeForce Now, where if you happen to have the license of a game, and it's and everything, and available within the GeForce server, you are able to play it via the cloud on any device, whether it be a low end PC, your mobile device, or anything like that. You'll be able to play the game via the internet, and all that stuff and everything. It has its bumps and bruises and all that stuff aside, but it's a nice thing to have and all that stuff if you want to do that small implementation of it and everything, which is pretty cool in my opinion. In all honesty, other than that, I th- we've talked. Call of Duty is going to be this. I think Call of Duty is going to be. I think the live service, multiplayer games, and all that stuff. The Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft will stay the same and all that stuff. That nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna get removed from PlayStation and all that stuff. As much as people will probably want to complain about that and make that the big deal, it shouldn't be because it's gonna stay the same. And Microsoft has the proof that they will do that with Minecraft, and particularly the recent two spin-off Minecraft games that came out, Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft Legends. Those came out on multiple platforms and everything for those ones too, for that stuff. When Microsoft acquired Bethesda, there are ZeniMax. There's two online service games that is Fallout 76 and the Elder Scrolls Online. Those games are still available on the PlayStation platform and all that stuff. There when Microsoft even acquired Bethesda, there were two contracts for games that were going to come exclusively to the PlayStation 5 first. That was Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Microsoft honored those contracts and let those go out first on PlayStation and everything. Once the deal went through, even if and everything, a year later they happened to come out on they finally came out on Xbox and they're on a Game Pass too. So that's nothing wrong there. And they're even on PlayStation's PlayStation Plus premium subscription service too. So nothing's wrong. Nothing should be wrong there at all. But I think again, I am for the proposal. I don't. This isn't something that what people call a monopoly of sorts, because the game industry is totally different from what you say. Like say the cell phone companies here in the U.S. We have three big ones: AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. We used to have four. Sprint. That was the fourth one was Sprint. Merged with T-Mobile. Now there's three. Reduces competition right there and everything like that. That is something that might lead to something like say if Verizon takes over everything. This here in the gaming world, I don't believe that this is a monopoly and everything because of the fact that it's not taking over the game. It's not taking over what it's not what's the word I'm looking for? Actually, it's not consuming the game, consolidating games in general. For a fact, especially the fact that it's coming into still most of these games are still going to be on PlayStation and everything like that. Because it's like when you're consolidating, you're making it sound like these are the games you're gonna these it's these selection of games that you play and that's it and everything like that. Outside of Halo, Gears, Call of Duty, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, I was gonna say Blizzard entire Overwatch, Diablo, and all stuff. Outside of those, there are a ton of other games that are available, not just within the console market, but also within the PC. If you play games on Steam or the Epic Game Store, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of games in there also, and everything like that. There is literally almost a brand new game that comes out every single day and all stuff. Maybe not everyone plays those games, but the fact that there is content that constantly comes out on a consistent basis on outside of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, who are the big three in the gaming world, and the publishing and the prefer as of releasing consoles and games, that doesn't compute to what everything else is that else is out there and everything like that. There are a ton of brand new games. There's a game that has the potential to be the next big thing. We don't know it yet and everything, and that's what I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with Call of Duty becoming something under the Xbox family in a way, and but still being available to everyone else at the same time. So and everything like that. If you look from a financial perspective, it just gives Xbox money to spend and all that stuff, more money to be able to spend on brand new games for people or make some kind of special deals to bring stuff to Game Pass. It all benefits the consumer, and to me at least, how I feel about it. People might have their disagreements on it, but that's on them and everything. But I believe that this is a good deal. This is something that's to be special, something interesting to see on all that stuff. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But again, for next week's episode, it's if depending on what happens on the litigation process of the trial, because the thing, like again, the thing is about this, for this to be fully purchased and all stuff, it has to go to a regulatory body, not just within the United States but around the world itself. It has, and so far it's only been denied in two places, here in the US and in the UK. They are going to trial on both of those to make sure they get this deal done and all that stuff. It's currently doing that right now here in the US, which is going through final statements and a review process from the judge, and we'll get a final verdict because it's going through what's called the FTC is what's giving it a private injunction, which gives it the chance, which is trying to make sure the deal doesn't go through at all. But I feel like it may go through after what's been going through the trial process, and from what it sounds like, if that happens, they will close the deal immediately, but still go through the appeal process in the UK for that. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen next. Again, next week's episode, depending on what happens when we get final verdict, we'll have if the deal goes through, if this passes, there's no private injunction, I will do the episode on Friday to give you my thoughts of what could happen with this deal. I'll give you more depths of what I think should happen, at least. And if not, it's probably still be on Friday, but we'll just talk about something else because that's no big deal. Again, we just move on and enjoy our lives. That's it for that. But other than that, my name is Ricky. This has been the No Name Gaming Podcast. Again, you can catch us here every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, whether it be on video via YouTube or audios on services such as Spotify. Ooh, I almost messed that up. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many other podcast services available, such as Amazon Music, for to name another one. If you're here on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, tell us what you think about the potential purchase, and that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.